Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here, returning to you this late morning for a Justin Timberlake album ranked worst to best. Hopefully you enjoyed this album ranked video because we're going to talk about the 6 albums we've already gotten from Justin Timberlake. So I'm going to start with the worst and go up to the best after that, from 6 to 1, and let you know my thoughts on each album. So let's dive into this album ranked video for worst to best. Now I'm going to start with number 6, which is Man of the Woods, which you kind of already get the gist of why I picked that. I only owned it as a collection to the Justin Timberlake records. I have all of his albums now as of lately. Pretty much, I think Man of the Woods had potential, but it squandered. There were some tracks close to the end of the record that felt dull and boring, and some other tracks felt dull and boring too through this record. It wasn't one of his best, but it was slightly a letdown. So I gave it a 5 out of 10 when I reviewed it recently. So definitely go check out that review if you have not seen it for Man of the Woods album review, because I don't know, I was just very let down by this record. Like, the only strong track was Say Something. There were probably a few other tracks like Supplies that was alright. It wasn't great, I can tell you that, but Say Something was the only strong track from this record that I know of. So, number 6, Man of the Woods by Justin Timberlake. Number 5 is Justin Timberlake Justified, his debut album. Yes, there's a crack on the CD. It's because I've had it buried in my CD bin for a while, and I haven't really, okay, the CD still works. I was just checking to make sure it worked. And I mean, the case is not in great condition, I'll tell you that, but still, there were some tracks I liked. Senorita, Like I Love You, Oh Know What You Got, Take It From Here, Cry Me a River, and Rock Your Body were my favorite ones. The last track was really nice. So this was a good record. There were some tracks that I just felt didn't really interest me too much and were the weak ones, but overall this was one I wanted to pick for the number 5 spot. So Justin Timberlake Justified. Definitely recommend checking out his debut. Alright, number 4 is Justin Timberlake with the 2020 Experience, part 1. Basically, it's just the first part, and it has all 12 tracks on this edition. I have the other one, but I'm trying to sell it, so just for a fair price at least. But not a lot of people want to buy it. I'm just like, they don't want to buy it for that price. I'm like, okay. But still, Justin Timberlake, the 2020 Experience, part 1, had some good tracks. Push Your Love Girl, Suit and Tie, Don't Hold the Wall. I mean, some of the tracks tended to drag out, I'll tell you that. Tunnel Vision was alright. Spaceship Coup was one that I thought was alright. That Girl was alright. Let the Groove Get In was pretty catchy, but it was pretty lengthy. Most of these tracks on the 2020 Experience, I will tell you, are 7 to 9 minute tracks. Most of them. Not all of them are like that, but majority of the tracks tend to drag out for a while. And there's one track on the 2 of 2 one that's like 11 and almost 11 and a half minutes. So pretty much Dress On and Body Count were pretty solid tracks too. So yeah, number 4, Justin Timberlake 2020 Experience. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. It's a pretty strong record for what it goes for. And one of my favorites too. One of the favorites in the top 5. Alright, number 3 is going to be the 2020 Experience 2 of 2. As you can see, these are the extra tracks that came out in 2013, like later in the year. But there were some good tracks like TKO. This one I actually enjoyed majority of the tracks. Drink You Away, Amnesia was my favorite, Only When I Walk Away. Tended to drag on for a bit. I don't understand why people dislike this record. They were like, this isn't his best. Take Back the Night was pretty solid. Murder was pretty good. Cabaret, True Blood, You Got It On is pretty solid. Blindness and Electric Lady were pretty good tracks in their own way. So basically, I did enjoy this record. I mean, yeah, I can understand why some people think it's his. Some people think it's not a great record because some of the tracks do feel a little stale, but majority of the tracks tend to entertain you for what they go for. So, number 3 is 2020 Experience 2 of 2. Definitely recommend checking this record out. Alright, number 2 is Future Sex Love Sounds by Justin Timberlake. Enjoyed this record for sure. It's this runner up to the one I'm gonna pick, which I think you already guessed what I'm gonna pick. I enjoyed Sexy Back. Future Sex Love Sound was pretty good. Sexy Ladies, Let Me Talk to You. My Love, Let Me Talk to You was like the interlude, the prelude to the next track. My Love featuring T.I. Love Stoned, I Think She Knows was pretty interesting. What Goes Around comes around. Pretty much Comes Around was the second half to the track, the ending to the track, but it was pretty good. Chop Me Up was my favorite. Damn Girl was alright. Summer Love was alright. They weren't terrible tracks. They were pretty catchy. Until the End of Time was pretty solid. Losing My Way was pretty catchy. Another song all over again. Strong track, but nice closer for what it goes for. So basically, number 2 is Justin Timberlake, Future Sex Love Sounds. Now, to close it out with the last album, Everything I Thought It Was. I personally found this to be one of my favorites, and I choose it to be number 1, personally, for me, because majority of the tracks I really enjoyed. Yes, it was pretty lengthy. It was a 77-minute record. I will give it that. And some of the tracks tended to drag out. Like, he only does that because he wants to prolong some of the songs' runtime and just make it sound interesting with the mixing and all that. He likes to mix it up with his songs. Justin Timberlake does. Memphis was my favorite. Fucking Up the Disco was pretty good for what it went for. No Angels was pretty catchy. Play, not my favorite, but it was fine. Technicolor was pretty good. Drown was my favorite. Liar was pretty good. Infinity Sex was pretty good in its own way. Love and War was pretty good in its own way too. Not one of my favorites, but fine. Sanctified was a pretty catchy one. My Favorite Drug was pretty interesting of a track. Flame was good. Imagination was alright. What Lovers Do was pretty solid. Selfish was the first single for the record, and then you get the last 3 tracks alone. Paradise was the best song on this record, for sure, and Conditions. So pretty much, this was a strong record, and one of my favorite albums, along with Future Sex Love Sounds. So they're kind of tied together, but I chose this one to be the winner for the best album ranked that I personally chose, and that's the back of it. So pretty much, definitely recommend checking the new Justin Timberlake record out. I mean, yes, it's pretty long. I will give you that. So you're in for over an hour and 15-minute listen, but it does go by pretty quickly later on. So pretty much, yep. Number 1 is Everything I Thought It Was by Justin Timberlake. That is going to be it for this album ranked worst to best for Justin Timberlake's discography. Hopefully you enjoyed this album ranked video. I have a movie review coming out. I do have to mention something real quick. I did get a copyright claim on my, not a strike, but just a claim on my last live stream last night. It wasn't fun. I'm kind of irritated, but also tired of the crap. So, yeah, that's what happened, and I wasn't really happy about it, but I'm not going to delete it. I will tell you that. I will not delete it this time. So, if there's a copyright claim, I'll just be like, look, I did nothing wrong. It's fair use. That's how it is. It was commentary. I mean, yeah, there was some music in the background, but it was at a. I was trying to make it at a decimal volume, but that's part of the fucking game. Because that's how it is. But all in all, yeah, someone's trying to throw shit at me and say, oh, well, you can't do this. And if you do this again, we're going to give you a copyright strike kind of shit. So I'm a little upset about it. I'm like, it's just a fucking game stream. It's like, you're going to get upset over something so minor. I swear, people just like to bitch, basically. But other than that, hope you enjoyed this Justin Timberlake album ranked video. I will have a movie review coming out today sometime, but until then, have a good rest of your morning.